It was a sigh of relief for Nigerians to receive the news that the Nigerian electricity workers have suspended a nationwide strike, which led to total blackout in different parts of the country. The electricity workers under the joint umbrella of the National Union of Electricity Employees, the NUEE, and the Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies agreed to suspend the industrial action following the intervention of the Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige. However, businesses are still counting their losses as a result of this action. Welcome to Business Daily on Trust TV, where we'll give you up-to-the-minute information on major developments and analysis in the world of business, finance, investment, and the Nigerian economy at large. I am your host, Christiana Amodu. Thank you for joining in. So on today's edition of the program, our focus will be on the power sector and recent developments that we have seen come up in the sector. I have a foremost player in the power sector with me here in the studio. You get to meet him much later in the program. He is Kola Olubiyo, President, Nigeria Consumer Protection Network, and also a member, Presidential Ad Hoc Committee on Review of Electricity Tariff. He will be giving an expert analysis on some of these issues that we have seen play out in recent time as regards the power sector. Now, before we get into the crux of the matter, I'll take a short breather. When we return, the program will continue. Please stay.
With me today is the Governor of Kano State, His Excellency Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduji.
First of all, I have to congratulate you, the Media Trust, that has given birth to the Daily Trust. And now the Media Trust is giving another birth to Trust TV.
My guest today is the Executive Governor of Plateau State, His Excellency Simon Bako Lalong.
Thank you very much, and also opportunity, and I congratulate you for introducing the television because Daily Trust has always been my people.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
Welcome back, and thank you for still staying there with us on your channel of choice, Trust TV. I have with me in the studio now Kola Olubiyo, the President, Nigeria Consumer Protection Network. Welcome to the program, Mr. Kola.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure to have you join us.
Kola Olubiyo.
Okay, Kunle Kola Olubiyo. My apologies for that. Now, before we delve into the issues for today, we have some statements from the Minister of Power talking about some of the recent developments we have seen come up in the power sector. Let's take a listen to what the Minister has to say and some experts equally before we get your perspective on the issue.
So, July 1st, we have entered into contract activation with the generating companies from generation to transmission. Transmission must take that amount. Distribution must distribute that amount. Otherwise, there will be penalty. So that's what it means. So starting from there, then, but unfortunately, gas failed us. Gas supply to the generator. And you cannot hold the generator responsible if he's not able to. So it's a very, very complicated thing which we are trying to unbundle. And I assure you, there is hope. We have gotten all the necessary ingredients to solve this problem. So we just need some time, which I promise you that you will see supply July 1st. And since July 1st, we have not gone below 4,000. But we are unable to reach 5,000 because of the gas issue. So and it is not up to the Minister of Power alone. We have other players. For instance, Minister of Finance, who controls MBED. We have the NNPC, who controls the gas marketing company, which I have to work together with them. to ensure that we reach agreement to get gas.
Okay, there we have the Minister of Power. Now, let's hear from Energy Sector Expert Olabode Sowunmi and also representative from the Ministry of Labour, what they also have to say with regards to the recent industrial action by the National Union of Electricity Employees and also causing a blackout for the entire nation. Please take a listen.
Yes, the issues that we had, I thank the Honorable Minister and the Minister of State for Power for their maturity in handling these issues that were brought up. Yes, these issues could have been tackled earlier on if there was the rightful communication with all parties. But well, as we have said, we've been given 2 weeks to which to report back to the full House. Well, we assure the nation that such crisis will be nipped in the bud before it escalates.
So you have industry people who are workers like any other set of workers who feel that the financial entitlements that they have is not satisfactory. You only have to negotiate with them. And if indeed those financial entitlements are not satisfactory, then there's an issue. Because we need to understand that there's an illiquidity in the sector, which means that the sector itself does not have enough money to take care of itself and keep oiling itself, which is why a lot of times government has had to intervene. So there are certain fundamentals that need to be taken into place. Is that the sector must be first made liquid. And to make it liquid, we're talking about people stopping theft. So because when you have a neighbor who has bypassed the meter, he's not necessarily intelligent, he's circumventing the system because somebody is going to pay anyway. You understand? It costs something to get there, and if they don't get it back. So that's another thing. Then there is the issue of the actual costs. There are certain things in the components of the tariff that are dollar-based. So every time, like now dollar was 170 a couple of years ago, is now 700. That also reflects in the...
So there you have it. Now I want to bring in Kule Nkola Olubio into the discussion now. You've heard from, I think this is your constituency, if I will put it that way. And a lot of people have said that the union holding Nigerians to ransom is a blackmail because it's some have tagged it an object of impunity, talking about we actually saw a video of members of the union, or as the case may be, turning off the grid on social media. We saw that video went viral. So holding an entire country to ransom, and businesses are still counting their losses as we speak as regards to that action from the union. I want to hear your opinion on what we have seen transpired in the last 2 to 3 days.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here again. I happen to be the pioneer guest about 5, 6, 7 years ago of Trust TV Online, and impressed from the end user point of view by what you have in place as a great milestone of a combination. We call it hybrid, both print and electronics, and so you are in the media. The Trust Group is in tune with emerging trend. So we want to congratulate you for this investment, for job creation.
Thank you.
Having said that, we are saddened by the development. From the end user point of view, several billions of naira have been lost to this, if not trillions. You know, when you shut down the economy, it comes at a cost.
Sure.
For every state or nation in the course of nationhood have stages of evolution. These are teething stages, transitional stages of national development, and there are prices to be paid for development. We are in an evolution of development. So some of these things, they are bitter pills being forced on our throat to swallow. But from our own end, it's give and take. For the period where it lasted, there are issues that have not been settled. In NAFDAC, it is settled. In NCC, it is settled. In the power sector, in the university sector, in the aviation sector, we have unsettled issues. And we just need to ostracize the cancer, not point the deodorant on it. So if we don't address it issue now, when? Postponing the evil days. So these are sacrifices we have to make. This issue, there are legacy issues that started in 20 2013, during the privatization. The privatization exercise itself was a sham. Processes were not there. You brought in company based on parapor. No due diligence.
Mr. Olubi, I want you to, when you say parapor, everybody will not understand what that means. What does that mean?
What it means is that predetermined winners. Some winners who are selling bananas, corporate gifts, selling cocoa and what have you. How do you bring such people without pedigree of any cognate experience or collective expertise in the power sector?
This is a claim many will ask you if you can substantiate.
Yes, no, these are facts. Vego, that one Benin Disco is into corporate gifts. In Kaduna Disco, the winner of the bidding was given what they call delay payment, just like what happened in Itakwe and Ajakuta. Just like what happened in Daily Trust, where a company won bidding of Daily Trust and one of the assets in the UK was sold to pay for this thing. So the BPE got us to this lacuna and this mess. Not until we call for an inquest. Those people who packaged the Electricity Policy Reform Act, the Electricity PSR, the Electricity Power Sector Reform Act of 2005, those people who did the privatization, they betray public trust. They were embodied with public trust. It's about public trust. Coming to that, in 2013, we cannot say that profiling government, the perception global and locally of our government cascade to the perspective of an average Nigerian. Government must be seen to be honorable. If you have agreement and you have challenges and they have written 17 letters to government and no response, it goes a long way to speak about the integrity of governance. And governance is about you and I. So we must make government accountable. The aviation industry, every big man at the top travels. They have something to hold the country to ransom. The electricity workers, National Union of Electricity Employees and Senior Staff, they have something to hold the country to ransom. What about ASU? They don't have this. So we have so many unsettled issues that you and I, we just have to be factual and be objective without fear or favor to labor and government that this issue have to be resolved. They promised them some issues, XY issues. Now in 2013, it was suspended till 2019. And at 2019, there was a meeting, the Speaker of House of Rep, an arm of, you call it lower chamber, you call it concurrent power, an arm of parliament intervened and said, give us 3 months. From 2013 to today, it's 3 years. So if a labor group or union have continually engaged government through correspondences and informal discussion, brinksmanship and what have you, written 17 letters, and the last warning that was given was in May. So why should we have power brigade approach to governance, putting the right people in the right places? I tend to disagree with Minister of Power. With due respect to him as an individual, but he's representing an institution. That's why we put him on his toes. The moment he leaves the position of Minister of Power, we don't have any business with him. As an individual, based on personal relations, we respect him. But the Minister of Power is misdirecting Mr. President.
How do you mean misdirecting Mr. President?
Yes. We all have access to Mr. President. We give Mr. President our money, but he's doing more since coming by misdirecting Mr. President. 85 to 90% of generation of power is from the gas. We are indebted to legacy debt to the IOCs and the gas producing company, $1 billion, which they claim we have not paid. The GENCOs, when they came on board, we promised them some things as government, whether from MBET and what have you, that we are going to provide, like we did to Azura, partial risk guarantee, could put call option agreement. This is securitization. That if you produce in assets, if you do this thing, MBET is the one that have business directly with GENCOs, not DISCOs. We have the power purchase agreement and what have you. I've met in the Minister of Power office, the GENCOs, the investor, Elimelu and what. I've met them waiting for hours. Now we promise them all this. Is it because they are Nigerians we've not provided? And they have continued to dip hands to their pocket to go and borrow money from the bank to make sure all of us have this issue. So generation is from gas. The minister is saying that improvement because of increase in water level. No, it's from gas.
Now, I want you to hold on your thoughts. I see that we are bringing a lot of issues to fore, especially as it relates to this discussion. These are the fundamentals. Yes, I want to hold you on to the issue on what is playing in the ministry and with the Minister of Power. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll talk more on charting a way forward, especially for the sector. Please stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for still staying there with us. This is still Business Daily coming to you on Trust TV. I still have with me here in this studio Kunle Kola Olubio, President Consumer Protection Network, and he's been really speaking a lot as to giving us basically a background to what we are seeing play out currently in the power sector. And I'm forced to say we are seeing some kind of power dynamics play out because I don't want to hold brief for the Minister of Power, but if we listen to what the minister said earlier on in the program.
It's free to call me, we talk, we speak.
Yes, I understand that. What the minister said earlier on in the program, I think he mentioned that they are not relaxing on their oars.
These are big technical jargons that does not connect. There's a serious disconnect. I was a member of the National Technical Investigative Panel. I'm speaking based on content of experience of 12 years in the power sector. And we all mean well for Nigeria. No government has ever, in a supposedly privatized power sector, invested through government intervention, apart from about $5 to $7 billion US loan, taken between 2015 to date. Intervention fund in a supposedly privatized power sector is about 2.9 trillion naira. So why did we privatize? How much? Penny wise, pound foolish. Now in the regulatory ecosystem, we have weak regulatory substance. If you have metering and have policies that all you just need is simple regulation. If the regulation is weak, no matter all the laws we chunk out, if the regulator is not a fair arbiter, if they don't have the lever to step on toes, we are not saying rascality now, but there are benchmarks. We have been exposed to regulatory risk exposure. Now, what we are having playing out, the minister went to Mr. President. I want to close the issue of the minister.
Great.
That what we've been having is partial system disturbances. 6 times we have system collapses. And if you are telling Mr. President that there have not been system collapses, there are system disturbances, transient system disturbances can be caused by intervention of the leaf. If there's a tree growing under the vegetation and there's a vegetation encroachment of the grid and the leaf touches 132 or 330 network, it will burn and the light will switch off. That's transient fault. You're looking for the fault. Then so you need vegetation control. There are different layers of system protective devices that we need to speak to. Last 2 weeks, Apple Hill transmission substation went up in flames. Idumagbo, Kobosu in Kano, in Calabar. Why will all these things go up in flames? Because we are not doing the right thing. The different layers of system protective devices are failures. They are obsolete. We have obsolete of infrastructure. There are supposed to be interfaces of even what you call reactors and whatever spinning reserve. So we are not speaking to the issues. Now we keep misleading government. This is like the cement project that you want to talk about. It's an equipment supply that was not subjected to international bidding. Now you come and bring independent power, bring generators, give them gas like that was done in Berger in those days, put gas temporarily. How sustainable are they? So coming down to the issue of the labor, they have issues in 2013. In 2019, they met with government. They wanted to shut down, and the honorable speaker intervened. Yes. And they're written 17 letters. Why is it difficult for us to have what they call responsibility of contract, sanctity of contract, and respect simple agreement? Whatever the issues, if there are challenges by government, come to the round table. It's not for you. We shouldn't make the mistake of June 12, 2013, where we use military arm tactics to push out Korea and Lot, and our refinery up till now, all the major refineries were shut down, major components were removed by the organized labor, and up till now we could not recover the refinery. So government must come to a table in a more civilized way. This is part of global governance, good governance index, and discuss with the labor. If there are challenges, everybody should bend backward. We are talking before now, your interview is being watched by labor, NLC President Ajiro and what have you, and we have sent that to the minister and everybody that look, come, you are providing the voice. We will say the truth. That is why we are not consultant, we are not contractor. We have refused every entities and patronage, so that we, for this generation, it is not by our choice, but we must speak on behalf of voiceless Nigerians. And so government must come to a round table and sit down with them so that we can avoid this unnecessary global embarrassment and strangulation of the economy and job losses that is being caused, because our youths are home because of forced ASU strike, and this is the only means electricity for constructive and positive engagement of them. We're talking about security, which is tied to electricity. So we must look at it from the point of security and sustainable growth and development. So it's a serious Global embarrassment to us.
I agree to some extent with your positions
Yes.
on these issues, that if a particular issue has lingered for so long, it is pertinent that it should be addressed once and for all. I want us to look at the motives while all this started. That's looking at that letter that came from Joe Ajaero, the executive secretary. We have that some of the motives that were the key motives that the National Union put forward was directive by the TCN board requesting all acting PMs that they must appear before the promotion committee for interview. We also have the directive. They said the directive is in contravention with the union's condition of service and career projection parts, stigmatization of staff from office of the head of service from working other areas of the power sector. Then refusal of the market operator to fund the payment of entitlement to ex-PHCN staff in the December 2019 agreement. I wanted to shed some light on these directives that we have seen come forward.
These are issues we're supposed to take for granted. All over the world, global best practices is that, every time. In 2014, dollars was 170 to $1, 170 naira to $1. Now it's about 710 in the parallel market. So these are inflationary trends. And so workers' salary anywhere, the employers of labor, other government or private sector, supposed to be doing adjustment naturally. Because sometimes, even as a man, if I enter area 2 market, go with 20, 30,000 naira, I pity you, our wives. If you go 20, 30,000 naira, if we don't go to the market, you think that you are shortchanging us. Cost of food and other things have increased, and services. So what it means is that these are local benchmarks already set out by International Labour Organization and domesticated. These are not issues that are supposed to be brought to fore and brought to the point that of going beyond equilibrium. These are local issues. Now in NEC, some years back, some people were trained as regulatory specialists and they are principal managers. And it makes sense that if there are vacancies for AGM and GM, those people who have been trained with cognizant experience, several billions of naira, spent on them to send them to different institutions all over the world. Now, when it was time for them to be promoted to these vacancies, they now advertise. The management of NEC 5-7 years ago advertised this position and brought in people who are freshers with no experience. So this brought about staff disillusion and lack of job satisfaction. NEC, quote me, is the highest paid institution in the world. Highest paid institution in the world. But in spite of the take home, the staff is not about the take home. About 100 people from NEC in the last 7 years have resigned voluntarily because of lack of toxic working environment, lack of job satisfaction. We had that in ADC, we had that in Ibadan, we had that in the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company, we had that at MBET. When staff will come to office, the MD will come and be taking their phones and what have you, not until the present administration leadership. So what we are saying, working environment, conducive working environment will cascade to efficient service delivery. You come to this place, it's looking beautiful, you are motivated. Apart from your take home, you are given the freedom to be creative. That is what we're talking about. So whatever we have in leadership, they should not operate in local parlance, what we call old school. There are emerging trends of workplace, hybrid. And so they should be motivated to give us the best. A distribution staff that's supposed to take out outage or work on the lines, if their mind is not concentrated, if they are not happy with what they are doing, they won't give their commitment and we won't get their best. Their positions can never be cast in stone. There's flexibility and dynamics in brinksmanship of labor union negotiation all over the world. And so the labor, by even calling off the strike for 2 weeks, means that they are being sensitive to our collective sensibility. And so government should come to, this is not ASU. We can't do this, we can't do what we are doing to ASU with aviation and electricity sector. They will shut down and hold all of us to ransom, and we must come to negotiate with them. The same way we are appealing to government that whatever it is now, we should go and take our children back to school.
I want to ask you, I want to get your thoughts. Is the overarching challenge of the sector illiquidity?
You cannot build something on nothing. Like I said, it's a value chain. The generation company have tried enough by going to the banks, using their personal goodwill to borrow money. When they borrow money, they generate, and the transmission company have what they call the transmission service charges, in spite of the transmission infrastructure kwashiorkor-ness. Kwashiorkor.
You are adding so many new words to my lexicon.
Yes. Kwashiorkor. The grid is obsolete. The grid is weak. as a member of the Technical Investigative Panel on Power System Collapse, System Stability and Reliability, there's a threshold the grid cannot exceed. If you attempt to go beyond 5,800 megawatts, the grid will collapse because it's weak. Instead of fixing the grid, instead of working on the grid, we are busy buying transformers that can create jobs, put money in the pocket, quick win. That is not the problem. Let's improve on the grid. Now, coming down to the downstream, the distribution network, we only have people who came here as portfolio investors. Abuja Electricity, before now, make an average of 10 to 15 billion naira a month. That's a good deal. In spite of all the weaknesses in collection and revenue efficiencies, the manpower casual. So people are not motivated. But even at that, 10 to 15 billion in a month. Developing a website that could be developed by Nigeria in India for about 2 billion naira or 2-point-something billion naira. Okay. So these are the areas that leakages, recklessness, they are making money. The power sector has really empowered individuals at the expense of the country. So government is not giving the right message. Now, next set a parameter.
When we're running out of time, so I want you to quickly...
Minimum remittance order before now, right, we say, if you make 15 billion naira a month, remit 20%. How do you pay those people who generate the power? So in a long and short of it, this license is 10 years moratorium. By next year, it will expire. We are tired of this lot. There are Nigerians, the Dangote, the Boans, what have you, that have really proven that Nigeria can do good business and align with global best practices. So next year, we want this contract to be novated because their moratorium expire, so that we can go back to the drawing board, everybody come to a round table and do what is best for Nigeria. We can really get it right, and Nigeria can work like any other country.
Thank you so much, Kunle Kola Olubiyo, President, Nigeria Consumer Protection Network, and member, Presidential Ad Hoc Committee on Review of Electricity Tariff. Thank you for coming in August 2020. Thank you for coming to share your thoughts with us on what's happening with the power sector. And I think for many Nigerians, what is important is we don't want to
keep saying, power?
Yes, where's the light?
Yes.
Where's the light?
And we'll get there.
Yes,
we'll continue to put them on their toes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, hopeful optimism. We don't want to just see the light at the end of the tunnel any longer. We want to see the light in our homes, where we run our businesses, which is very important. Don't forget, you can catch up on this interview. Just in case you're just picking your remote and tuning in, don't worry, you will not miss out. You can catch up on the interview on all our social media platforms, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, Trust TV. Check out all the information you need on Nigeria's socio-economic development. My name is Christiana Amodu Otinya. Continue to stay safe, and bye for now.